Hi, I'm Chris Shondell with Young Audiences New Jersey and Eastern Pennsylvania, and I'm presenting a three-part video series on using OBS for live streaming. This is part 2, which covers camera settings and options. Be sure to watch part 1, which covers OBS basic settings, adding scenes and sources, and part 3, which covers audio settings and options. Let's get started with OBS cameras. All right, we're back in OBS, and I've got a couple scenes set up in here, and I just want to go over a couple things about adding cameras to OBS. So obviously the first thing that most people have connected to their camera, whether it's built in or it's an add-on, is a webcam. So I have my first webcam set up on scene 1. So if I click into scene 1, you'll see my webcam, and it's this one right here. It happens to be a Logitech, and it's a 720p camera, meaning that the frame is actually 720 pixels by 1280 pixels. And so that's why the frame is smaller than the actual output window, because the output window is 1920 by 1080, which is high definition, and this camera is not high definition. It's 720 by 1280, so it is actually smaller. Now I could take that and stretch it out just like that, but you can see that the image is a little fuzzy, and that's because it's just not a high definition camera. Essentially, it's just not as high quality. So now I'm going to switch to the next scene, which has this camera plugged in, which is also a Logitech camera, but it is high definition, so it's 1920 by 1080. And so you can see the picture is a little clearer. It's also got better color saturation. It's just a better camera. Now I'm going to switch over to the third camera, which is my Canon XA10, which happens to be a work camera, and that is also high definition. It's 1920 by 1080, and that's also a very good camera. It also has a zoom setting, so I could zoom in and out if I wanted to, and it's set up on a tripod right now. Now I have a fourth camera. I have this camera, which happens to be my phone, which is connected over Wi-Fi using an app called Droid Cam. So that adds an additional camera to my system, and that happens to be on Wi-Fi, but they do have the option to have it plugged into USB and connected over a USB connection. I just happen to have it on Wi-Fi. And so if I click on scene 5, you'll see now I've got all 4 cameras in one scene. Is that blowing your mind? I hope so, because it's pretty awesome. So, you know, you can add multiple cameras to your computer as long as you have the way to plug it in, you know, with USB plug or over Wi-Fi. In this case, I have this camera here, which is the Logitech, which is USB. That camera right there is also USB. This is Wi-Fi, which I spoke about. There's the XA10 right there. And all of this is plugged into the computer through USB ports. So down here you'll see I've got this device here, which is an adapter, which is a high definition video capture adapter for HDMI. And this is the other webcam that's plugged in here. And the other webcam is plugged in to a USB port on the back of my monitor. So that's how I got all those plugged in. If you're going to want to use an HDMI camera to connect to OBS, you're going to need one that's got an HDMI output on it. So a Canon camera like this has an HDMI out. It's a micro HDMI, so you're going to need an adapter like you see here that has a large to a small adapter size with it. And you're obviously going to need a regular HDMI cable that will plug directly into that adapter. You're also going to need an HDMI video capture device, which converts the HDMI signal to USB to plug into the computer. And you can pick one of these up on Amazon pretty inexpensively. You can plug in multiple cameras and have them all set up in different scenes, in different sources. Like, I'll just show you an example. So if I click on the plus sign and new scene, if I add another video capture device here, I go to, I've already got these existing, so I can select them. So I can add one right there, Canon XA10, and it pops it right into the frame. I can resize it, I can move it around, I can put it somewhere else. I can add another camera, video capture device, go to the Droid Cam, add that, and I can put that in the frame. So, you know, you could do something like, for instance, you could put yourself down in the corner here. I spoke about this on the other video, but, you know, you could put yourself down in the corner here, and if you had a green screen behind it, you can completely drop your background out so that you basically are just seeing yourself kind of popped into the corner there, and then you can have some video playing or some other element on the screen and talk about it while the video is playing. So lots of options. As long as you have a way of plugging it in, you can capture the video. Now, a lot of these devices have audio capture also built into them where you can use the microphone. I would say, generally speaking, you don't really want to do that necessarily, as long as you have a microphone like a lapel mic, lavalier mic, handheld mic that's on a stand or something, so that you're not using the built-in microphones that come along with these things, because generally speaking they're not that good. So that's it. It's pretty simple. You just have to plug those cameras in and add them to your scenes and sources in OBS and set them up any way you want. I think the most important thing to remember is, especially when you're doing a program that you want to repeat and have consistency to all the time, is that you're going to want to make sure that the cameras are in the same location, that you strike them somehow, that, you know, if you have a camera on a tripod, that where it's located and the zoom setting on that camera and the height and all that remains consistent every time you go to set that up to use it. And having everything plugged in, charged, all that stuff. If you're using a iPhone or a Android phone as an additional camera, you're going to want that to be obviously charged, or if you have the ability to plug it in to USB so it's maintaining a charge while you're using it, that's even better. So that pretty much covers everything in this video. Be sure to watch part 3 in my series, which covers all the audio settings that you're going to need to know for using OBS. Thanks.